Hey guys, Jace from PointsNerd here with my initial first impressions of Cathay Pacific's first class service. Here on board Cathay Flight 885 on our way to Hong Kong, direct from Los Angeles. We're currently cruising at an altitude of about 33,000 feet, somewhere above the Arctic Circle. We're probably going to get to Hong Kong in about 8 hours or so. I've had a chance now to experience the service and the food and the sleeping facilities here on board the flight, and I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about my experience. So to start off, the service has been unbelievably fantastic. Right when we got on board, we were made to feel very welcome by both the purser and the flight attendants. We've got 2 flight attendants serving the cabin right now for the 3 of us, so it's very much one-on-one service. When we got on board, they invited us to go up to the cockpit and speak to the pilots of the 777-300, and we got a chance to talk to them for about 5 minutes or so, and that's an experience I've never had before, even flying in other premium cabins. I've never had the chance to sit and talk to those guys for such a long period of time before a flight. The time before a flight typically is one of the busiest times on board an aircraft, so it was it was fantastic for them to make that kind of time for us to speak to us and make us feel welcome. The food on board was also amazing. You have to give airplane food a bit of leeway. You have to understand that preparing food at 33,000 feet with an oven and some steam is not the easiest thing in the world. I started with caviar, and it was good. I wouldn't say mind-blowing or life-changing, but it was quite good. Then we moved on to the main course, and what I had was the beef tenderloin, and it was really well cooked. I asked for my steak to be medium rare. It came out closer to medium, but it was still quite pink inside. A little bit dry, to be quite honest, but the au jus they provided sure helped to keep the meat quite moist, and it was delicious. The au jus was beautiful, as were the accompanying vegetables. The potatoes were a little bit undercooked, so I didn't eat those, but everything else was very, very good. The kind of disappointment that is associated with the food is that the airline now apparently doesn't stock Krug any longer. They have a different champagne, and I can't remember what it was. It's a Taittinger, and so while it is still quite a good champagne, it's not the same quality of a Krug. I'm not much of a drinker, so it doesn't affect me all that much, but it sure is disappointing when you come in with the expectation that you're going to get something and you get something else. The Taittinger retails for about $215 a bottle, and the Krug comes in at about $350, so it is quite a difference. In terms of the cabin itself, the cabin is fairly dated. It is quite an older style of cabin. A lot of the competitors of Cathay have now gone to the closed cabin, and Cathay still has the old cabin that has a bit of a open concept. We're in a 1-1-1 configuration with 6 seats in first class, so only 2 rows. There is a wall that separates the A and D and K seats. So right now I'm the only person in this mini side of the cabin, which is good and bad. I wish that I'd have a little more interaction with my family. The only way to interact with them is to really go around through the galley to the other side. So if you're traveling as a family, having the other side might be a better bet. But if you're traveling with 3, that means only 2 people get the window. That's why I'm over here on the A side. The cabin is slightly warm. I did wake up to a little bit of a soaked shirt because of how hot it was in the cabin. I think that's a common complaint with a lot of Cathay flights, so just be prepared if you do tend to run hot when you sleep. The bedding itself is fantastic. It's very comfortable, feels like home, and very easy to fall asleep. and we quite like what we've gotten so far here on Cathay. So looking forward to seeing what it's like on the A350 in business class down to Auckland here in the next couple of days, and also to compare this to our Fifth Freedom flight from New York to Vancouver at the end of our trip. So initially, my first impressions is that it's a really great airline, something that I would definitely look forward to flying, especially when you consider flying on Alaska miles, which is incredibly cheap for the quality of service that you get, and the retail value of the ticket is quite high, so you get a very high cents per mile valuation. So if you're ever looking to fly Cathay, look to Alaska as your airline frequent flyer program of choice to get you onto these flights.